us humans tend to live with a lot of tension in the head, the neck, the shoulders, and the upper body. So today's 30-minute practice is designed to create space in the upper body and relieve tension that we often feel on a daily basis. So this practice is perfect for doing first thing in the morning before you go about your daily activities or sitting at a desk job. It's also great for at night, right before bed, or maybe in the middle of the day just to loosen up a little bit. So we'll meet at the top of the mat to get started. All right, so once you've found your seat at the top of the mat, just get comfy, close your eyes, relax the face, relax the shoulders, down the back. And just find a moment of meditation here. Acknowledging any sensations, tightness in the body. And also keeping an eye out for anything, any parts of the body that feel neutral or good. Just taking notice of what's going on at this point in your day. While you're in this seated meditation, as things start to come up in the brain, just set them to the side. Know that anything on your mind, anything that might be important in this moment will be here when you're finished with this practice. And take the next few breaths to create a space on your mat, on the carpet, on a blanket, wherever you are, that is free from judgment, free from worry, free from tasks or to-do lists. And keeping the eyes closed, let's take a cleansing breath to begin our practice. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let the belly fill up. Let the chest fill up. Pause at the top and exhale, sigh it out. Seal the lips together and come back to that soft and even breath. Maybe you blink the eyes open, taking some movement in the head and the neck. Maybe drawing some small circles. And switching directions after 2 or 3. Your circles might gradually become a little bit bigger. As you're ready, come back to an upright seated position. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Pull the hands away from the body and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Puffing out the chest, opening up through the heart space. Take a deep breath in here. Allow the heart to become even more open. And on your exhale, take the fingers, keep them interlaced, but start to bring them towards the right side of the back body. So they might come down to the right low back. They might come all the way over to the right side body, so you can see them peeking out from the front. And then from here, feel the left shoulder pull down. Breathe into the left side of the body. And if you're looking for a little bit more, you might start to gently take your right ear towards your right shoulder, intensifying that stretch in the left side of the neck and shoulder. Take 3 breaths. Keep the face nice and soft. After your third exhale, start to come back to center, keeping the hands interlaced, pulling them away from the body, squeezing the shoulders together. Open the heart a little bit more. And then opposite side, keeping the fingers interlaced. This time bring them to the low back body, or if it's possible, maybe you bring them all the way over to the left side body. Take a breath here, notice how this feels. And if your body, your head, your neck, your shoulders are asking for more, you might bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. It's very early in our practice, so don't worry about making contact between the two. Just energetically pulling the left ear in that direction, all the while keeping the right shoulder pressing down. After 3 breaths, start to make your way back to center. Keep the fingers interlaced, open through the heart once more. And then release. Bring the hands back to the thighs or the knees, however you're seated. And just take 1 breath here. Notice any differences in the body. Let's continue with that heart opening and the opening of the shoulders and the upper back. On the inhale, take the arms to cactus or goalpost arms and open through the heart, puffing the chest forward, peeling the shoulders and the arms back. Take 1 more inhale here. And on your exhale, cross the arms, give yourself a big hug, grabbing onto opposite shoulders with the hands, and tuck the chin to the chest. Feeling the shoulder blades spread across the back. Take another inhale here and stay for your exhale. And then we'll start to move with our breath, inhaling to find cactus arms. Exhaling, cross the same arm underneath, tuck the chin to the chest, round through the head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, cactus arms, open heart. Exhale, give yourself some love, nice big hug, chin to chest. 2 more times. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, hug. 1 more time. Inhale, open the heart. And this time when you give yourself that nice loving hug, maybe you stay here. If this feels good, keep tucking the chin to the chest. Maybe you find eagle arms. So to set up for eagle arms, bring the arms out to a T and bring the right arm underneath the left to cross. Eventually, your palms will come to touch. Your elbows will come in line with your shoulders, and you'll press your forearms away from your face, still finding that same sensation of the shoulder blades spreading apart from each other across the back. Again, if this isn't accessible, just give yourself that nice hug, tuck the chin to the chest. But if this is the stretch that your shoulders are looking for today, just breathe here. Still option to tuck the chin to the chest. Breathing into the upper back and the tops of the shoulders. One more cycle of breath. And then slowly start to unwind, coming back through to your seated position just for 1 breath. And then we'll do that on the other side. So inhale, open up the heart, cactus the arms, maybe a slight arch in the low back. And this time when you exhale to give yourself that hug, the opposite arm will cross underneath. Grabbing onto opposite shoulders with the hands, tucking the chin to the chest. Take an extra breath here. And then we'll start to move with the breath. Inhaling to open the heart. Exhaling to give yourself that hug. Tuck chin to chest. Spread the shoulder blades across the back. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, show yourself some love. Twice more. Inhale, open heart. Exhale, hug. One more time, inhaling for that open heart, goalpost arms. And exhale, give yourself a hug and stay. So you might try the eagle arms on this side, coming back to upright, bringing the arms out to a T. This time, as you cross the arms, the left arm will come underneath the right. Maybe your palms come to touch if that's accessible. And again, your elbows will come up in line with your shoulders. And you want to think about pressing your forearms away from your face to create that space in your upper back. You can always stick with giving yourself that hug, but if this feels better, stay here. Breathe space into the body, and maybe tuck the chin to the chest. One more breath cycle here. As you're ready, slowly start to unwind the arms, coming back to that seated position, maybe taking a minute to find some movement in the shoulders and the neck once more. And eventually we'll all meet in a child's pose. Let's make this a wide-legged child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch and spreading the knees out as far apart as they'll go, depending on how your hips and your inner thighs are feeling today. And then just sink the hips back down towards the heels. If you have a blanket or a pillow and your seat is not quite touching your heels, you can feel free to stick that underneath. Just finding 3 breaths here. And for these 3 breaths, you might walk your fingertips even more far forward than you typically would. Again, stretching out that space underneath the armpits, the shoulders, the upper back. Maybe you even tent the fingertips, lifting the arms off of the mat. All the while still sending your seat back towards your heels, equal energy in opposite directions. Slowly start to soften back down into your child's pose. Let the forearms touch the mat once more. Let the heels of the hands come down to the mat. Take 1 breath here. And then start to come onto hands and knees. Finding a tabletop position, but keeping that child's pose shape in the legs. So your knees might still stay wider than hips distance apart. And your big toes might still touch. Hands are shoulder distance apart and the wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders. We'll thread the needle, opening the shoulders even more. Ground through the left hand and reach the right fingertips to the sky, finding a twist. And then thread the right arm underneath the left, eventually bringing that right shoulder, right ear down to the mat. A couple options. You can stay here. This is a perfect place to be. You can walk the left fingertips forward. Again, maybe you tent them so the left hand and the heel of the heel of the left hand and the left arm stays off the mat. And from here, if you want even a little bit more, maybe reach the left fingertips to the sky and maybe bring that left hand behind the back, grabbing onto the right hip crease. Keep pulling the left shoulder back. Wherever you are, the most important thing is that you breathe. We'll take 3 more breaths on this side. And when this side feels complete, you'll start to come out of the pose the same way you came into it. Bringing the left hand back down to the mat right beside the face, pressing into the left hand to straighten the left arm and reach the right fingertips to the sky once more, finding that twist. And then we'll even it out. Plant the right hand, reach the left fingertips to the sky, find that nice open twist. You might have some cracks in the back here, and then thread the left arm underneath the right, eventually bringing the left shoulder and the left ear all the way down to the mat. Feel free to stay here, but you have the same options as the other side. Walking the right fingertips forward, maybe keeping the arm resting on the mat, maybe tenting the fingertips so the heel of the right hand and the right arm are lifted off of the mat. If you took the bind on the other side, maybe you try it on this side, reaching the right arm to the sky, and then bringing the right hand behind the back, grabbing onto the left hip crease. Keep pulling that right shoulder back. Just 2 to 3 more breaths on this side. And as the side feels complete, even with the opposite side, slowly come out of it the same way you came into it, planting the right arm right hand right beside the face, pressing into the right hand to straighten the right arm and reach the left fingertips to the sky. And then coming back to a tabletop position, and we'll make our way to a Sphinx position. So coming to lie on the belly, forearms are planted on the mat parallel to one another. Your toes are untucked and you're pressing into the tops of the feet. And you want to think about shining the heart through the biceps. And to do that, don't just think about pushing your heart forward. Also think about pulling your elbows towards the center of the body. So feeling a little bit of work in this pose. As you pull the elbows towards the center of the body, keep relaxing the shoulders down the back. Just take 3 breaths here. When you're ready, we'll come all the way down, lying face down on the mat. Create a little pillow with the hands and just rest the forehead on the hands. Taking a breath here. And we'll move on to some shoulder stretches on the belly. So for the first stretch, we're going to focus on actually the pecs and the front and the tops of the shoulders. So bring both of the arms to cactus and then look over to your left side. So your right ear will come down to the mat. And then keep this right arm at a 90-degree angle, that goalpost arm. And then tent the left fingertips right outside of the upper left rib cage. You're going to slowly start to send your weight into your right shoulder. So coming on to the right side body, you'll feel a nice stretch in the front of the right shoulder, maybe the pec muscles. If this is a good enough stretch, stay here. Maybe you lift the left leg and plant it behind the right leg, intensifying that stretch even more. Again, focus on breathing space into the shoulders. I know I feel a lot of tension in this pose, but I always feel good when I come out of it. Always feel a little bit more space. Just another cycle of breath. Make the inhale and the exhale nice and long. And then coming out of it the same way you came into it, maybe bringing that left foot to stack on top of the right once more, and then slowly taking the weight out of that right shoulder, rolling on to the left side. And then we'll take that on the other side. I'm gonna face the opposite direction. So this time, bringing the left arm to cactus at a 90-degree angle, and then tenting the right fingertips to the upper right rib cages. Slowly start to make your way, bringing your weight onto your left shoulder, stacking the right foot on top of the left. If this feels good, stay. If you want, you can lift the right foot off of the left, planting the right foot behind the left. Maybe just the toes come to touch. Notice where you feel tension in the left shoulder, and imagine sending your breath to that area of the body. Imagine the breath creating physical space in the body. One more slow breath cycle on this side. Slowly start to come out of it. Same way you came into it, stacking right foot on top of left, and then slowly sending the weight to the belly, easing the weight off of the left shoulder. Maybe create that pillow with the hands once more, noticing the difference in the body, recognizing any space that was created in the shoulders. And we'll find one more stretch on our bellies. So this time, same sort of setup as the last pose, but this time we're gonna bring our arms out long to a T. We'll start on the right side. So bringing the right ear down to the mat, gazing towards your left hand. Keep the right arm out long and tent the left fingertips outside of the upper left rib cages. And then from here, slowly start to send the weight into your right shoulder. Maybe that left foot comes to plant behind the right. And you might find a little bit more space in this stretch. You can stay here. If your body is looking for more, there's an option for a bind. You can reach the left fingertips up to the sky and then bring them around behind the back, maybe grabbing onto the right fingertips, interlacing the hands and squeezing the shoulder blades together. Take 3 breaths here. If you found the bind on this side, you'll slowly start to unwind, reaching left fingertips to the sky once more, and then planting the left hand, rolling on to the belly, bringing the left foot beside the right, and we'll take that on the other side. Again, I'm just gonna switch sides really quickly. This time sending your left leg out long, both of your legs out long on your belly, left arm is out long at your side, and the right fingertips will tent right outside of the upper right rib cage. Start to send your weight into the left shoulder, maybe lifting the right foot, maybe stepping it behind the left. Again, if the ground feels really far away here, you can stick a pillow or a blanket underneath the ear, just to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. If you tried the bind on the other side, maybe you lift the right fingertips to the sky. Maybe you bring them around the back. And they may or may not grab onto the left fingertips. Maybe you just let the right hand rest behind the back. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Again, option to stay right here if that's what feels better. Take 3 breaths. When your 3 breaths are complete, if you found the bind, slowly start to unwind, and eventually we'll all meet on our bellies. Again, creating that little pillow with the hands, and just finding a moment of rest here. Allow any sensations to come up in the body. Resist the urge to label them good or bad, just noticing. And then we're going to transition onto our back, so you can just roll onto your back, or you can come back up through a seated position and slowly roll down. So from your back, we're going to bring our arms to goalpost once more. And then keep the right arm at a 90-degree angle. The back of the arm is planted into the mat. And then you're just gonna lift the left arm up, and keeping it at a 90-degree angle, plant the left forearm down on the mat. So it might not come all the way down, and this might cause your bicep, tricep to lift off the mat just a little bit. Just breathing here, focusing on our shoulder mobility. And from here, bring the left arm back up, keeping it at a 90-degree angle, coming back to that goalpost arm. And this time, lift the right arm up, keep that 90-degree angle, but send the right forearm down. So your fingers are facing your toes on the right hand. And just take a couple breaths on this side. Maybe noticing some differences in shoulder mobility. Slowly come out of it. Bringing both arms to goalpost arms. Feel the heart opening. And then hug the knees into the chest. Squeeze the arms over the shins. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze. Maybe massage out the low back, taking some rock side to side. And we'll find a supine twist to close out practice. So maybe you keep the legs connected, both of the knees hugging into the chest. Maybe you send the left leg out long, squeezing the right knee a little bit harder into the chest, and then using your left hand to guide your right knee over your left leg, finding that supine twist. You can cactus the right arm, maybe it comes out long, and take your gaze to your right fingertips. So don't worry about the right knee touching the ground, but do try and keep the right shoulder blade planted into the mat. So imagine there's a sandbag resting on the top of the right shoulder here, keeping it glued down to the mat. On your next inhale, you'll slowly make your way back to center. Give the right knee one more hug, and then send it out long, hugging the left knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. And again, use the right hand to guide the left knee over the right leg. You can cactus the left arm or send the left arm out long. Taking your gaze to your left fingertips, maybe closing the eyes. Left knee is energetically reaching towards the ground, not necessarily touching. And that sandbag has now shifted to the top of the left shoulder, gluing the left shoulder blade down to the mat. Your next inhale brings you back to center, hugging left knee into the chest, and then sending the left leg out long to meet the right. Find your Shavasana, your final resting pose. Let the legs come out wide. Heels are heavily planting into the mat. Arms are long at a wide V. Shoulders and the back of the head are sinking into the mat. Just taking one moment here to completely let go. You can stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, allowing the body to rest, sitting still with that new space you've created in the upper body. Namaste.